Wait, let's talk business for a second.
Right.
Okay, I always say there's two reasons we don't want young people on the platform. One, we think it's wrong for young people to watch.
Right.
Okay, we think it's wrong. Kids cannot distinguish between fantasy and reality.
I'll give you a guarantee. You say that, I'm going to listen to it, but I'm going to tell you something. Your traffic will drop 90%, but go ahead.
Come on, that's a
I'm
ludicrous,
tell you in a
that's a
minute,
ludicrous assessment that 90%.
You'll see when I say this. Go ahead.
Okay, so that's number one. Number two, from a business perspective, think about it this way.
Yeah.
We are an ad-powered platform. Our advertisers can only sell products and services to adults with adult credit cards or other similar adult sexual services. So for them, just think about it from a cost per click perspective. Every person who clicks an ad who's underage gets them zero benefit and costs them money.
Sure.
So from an ad marketplace, nobody wants young people on the platform.
Okay.
So do you know what we're doing every single day to actually change this?
What's that?
We are pushing for something called device-based age verification. We want it to be the law that every single operating system, Google, Apple, Microsoft, by default blocks adult. I want to think about that for a second. We want every...
Blocks what?
Adult.
We want
it
to
should
be
block
blocked.
porn.
Yes,
we want to
by
be
default.
blocked by default.
Oh,
And the only
I'm
way,
sorry. Got it.
The only way to be able to access adult is that on your device, you have age assurance built in there. So in other words, instead of like nowadays parental controls, you have to opt into them. We want them to be that you have to opt out of them. That is Pornhub's position. We want to be blocked by default because we don't want a single minor to be able to access the site. Now, at the same time, we totally reject this idea that you're going to hold up your ID and give it to every porn site on the internet. Because it's nonsense. It's nonsense.
But that's the only way to make sure kids don't log in.
No, in fact, that will make sure kids do log in to all of the non-compliant platforms.
How?
Well, it looks like Aylo, what a name, Aylo, is going to do the same thing as they've been doing here in the U.S. over age verification laws, what they're doing in France. They plan to geo-block their systems.
Also, kids, it's called a VPN.
In France, due to the age verification law, situations that have been going on over there. And I'm not surprised. You know, they just don't. France doesn't even realize, you know, there are VPNs out there that basically, you know, they can get around these blocks and everything, age verification onto there. But AVN put out this article on there. But before we read it, don't forget to drop a comment, like, share, and hopefully today's the day I earn your subscription. We really do appreciate that. We're about 1345 heading to 1350. Let's get up there. Let's try to get to 2,000 before the end of the summer. You know, we really do appreciate that. If you're on YouTube, let's push up on Rumble as well. Let's get closer to 500. We want to get there to 500, hopefully by the end of the year. So, on AVN, Aylo to block France due to age verification law. Aylo, the parent company of Pornhub.com, and other popular Tube's premium adult platforms, announced that it will be blocking the country of France instead of complying with the French government's age verification laws, or the SREN law. Daily users of Pornhub based in France digital space could lose access as soon as Wednesday afternoon, according to the company, which claims that this is a protest against ACRAM, the country's digital regulator, and the SREN law requiring age verification and insurance protocols. Pornhub insights indicate that France's digital market is the world's second largest after the United States and ahead of the Philippines. A spokesperson for Aylo confirmed that AVN that the geo-block affects the population of more than 68 million people. This comes as the wider European Union announced its open investigations into porn. We reported this. Pornhub, Xvideos, XNNX, and StripChat for what the European Commission called suspected breaches of key age assurance provisions in the Block Digital Service Act. The European Union's edition of Politico reports that Solomon Friedman, a partner at Aylo's ownership group Ethnic Capital Partners, called the French age verification law dangerous, potentially privacy infringing, and ineffective. In response to Aylo, and ECP Digital French Minister Clara Capes posted to her followers on X, if Aylo prefers to leave France, then apply our laws, then it's up to them. Well, they haven't left. Once again.
Also, kids, it's called a VPN.
It's amazing when you hear these things on there that, you know, you got Pornhub, who's done more than enough to basically recategorize their systems, to purge their systems. In fact, they're about to purge their systems again in literally about 2.5 weeks. Anyone that hasn't verified their channel, their videos, will be removed. And remember, Pornhub works with agencies that deal with child trafficking, sex trafficking organizations that, you know, that report on videos, specific videos that might not be, as they say, kosher to that point. But I'm going to read there's a statement Aylo just put out recently as we were doing this video. And I'm going to read it out. And this comes from Aylo VP Alex Kreski. Sorry if I mispronounced that. We've made a difficult decision to suspend access to our sites in France and instead of use our platforms to speak directly to the French people. French citizens deserve a government and a regulator who is serious about preventing children from accessing adult content. They also deserve laws to protect their privacy and safeguard their sensitive data. For years, we have attempted to collaborate with the government through consultation, data sharing, and offering pilot project participation. The results of all this have been clear. Site-based age verification does not work. It does not protect children, and it exposed data of millions of French people to private breaches and hacks. Your government won't tell you the truth about this, but we will. There is a simple and easy to implement and immediately available solution to the issue. Device age-based age verification. It all requires the government enforce regulators on 3 companies, Apple, Google, and Microsoft. The 3 operating system manufacturers requiring age verification at the device level prior to accessing adult content. The French government refuses to take up this simple and instead is focused on a futile and entirely symbiotic regulation actions that are unenforceable, do not protect children, and exposes your private data. As of June 4th, millions of consenting adults in France will no longer be able to access our library through moderated and consensual adult entertainment on one of the most trusted adult sites in the world, a site that we believe is better at safeguarding its community than any other user-generated content platform, including mainstream social media platforms. Sites like ours, which has hosted legal and regulated porn, will no longer be available in France, but thousands of irresponsible porn sites will be still easy to access. We know people will not stop looking at porn. They'll just migrate to hundreds of thousands of unsafe programs that have been not only chosen to be non-compliant, but also have far fewer, if any, trusted safety policies in place. In effect, all data indicates that these laws have been diverted traffic to dangerous websites that have made conscious decisions to act illegally. The way France has chosen to implement age verification is ineffective, haphazard, and dangerous. You deserve real solutions to stop minors from accessing adult content. We want to be part of that solution, but this symbiotic law will not get to protect children. Demand your government have the courage to get it right. And that's correct. I mean, I'm not too much into this, what they're proposing also as well. That also could be a situation in the long run, a problem in some time. See, the main thing is education, education, education. The 3 major things on there. You know, educating the parents, telling them, say, listen, there's stuff out there, there are programs that might be already in your computer that's able to lock out certain websites. Use them. It's very easy to use. The parenting comes from the home. not from the government. The government is not your parents. They're not your grandparents. They're not, they're not taking care of your children. The children that they should be taking care of, they're doing nothing about. Remember, in this country alone, over 300,000 children that came in here illegally are missing in our country. And nothing has been done to it. Even though this particular administration is beginning to work on that. And it's a very difficult task. It's not a task that can be done overnight. And you know that you've seen the issues of those, paid protesters who tend to show up at a lot of these arrests, which that means we have a leak somewhere. There is a leak in our government or on the ground somewhere when they make these stops, because, it seems like these are the same people day in, day out. They're hampering the arrests of human traffickers, hampering the rescue of children. Yes, that's right. The rescue of children. And they don't care because basically they don't like the president. Two, they're basically these radicals that just basically wants the United States Republic to fall. They want to live in a Marxist utopia, which that's never going to be good. It never is. One of the ways that they in these Marxist utopias is censorship. Orwell warned this, and many others have warned this in many decades, that this could happen. We have to be ever vigilant, because the war and the battle is going to come from within. And they were right about this. And I want you to go right now at the moment to comment. Drop a comment on there. Let me know your thoughts about this. These are situations that we've discussed before on, and we really want to hear your opinion on this. And remember, this is not only a porn issue. People will say like, "Oh, porn is evil," and stuff like that. This is stuff they consider adult content. What stops them from banning anime? What stops them from banning R-rated movies, horror films, action films? What stops them from there? Once you open up that Pandora's box, you can't close it. Remember that. Remember the Texas law that we talked about, SB 20, and what it could have done. It would have hurt not only the anime and the manga, it would have hurt the comic book industry and many other things. So remember, drop a comment, like, share, and hopefully today's the day I've earned your subscription. So until next time, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for clicking on this video. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.